Well, welcome everyone to the Owensboro Board of Commissioners regular meeting. Thank you all for being here. At this time, I would like to ask the City Clerk, Beth Cecil, to please call the roll.
Commissioner Larry Conder.
Here.
Mayor Tom Watson.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Larry Magliner.
Here.
Commissioner Pam Smithroyd.
Here.
And Commissioner Sanford is unavailable.
Spring break. Item number 3 on the agenda is invocation and the pledge. At this time, I'll ask you to please stand, and Commissioner Pam Smith-Wright will lead us.
Will you please bow your heads or be in silent meditation as your preference, please? Father God, we come to you today asking for your blessings upon this city and this commission. We ask, dear Lord, that you will remove us and let your will be done. Lord, help us to make the right decisions for our community. We are human and we make mistakes, but you are a forgiving God, and you and only you completely understand us because you are our creator. I pray for our employees that put their lives on the line every day to protect and help our citizens. I pray for our servicemen and women wherever they may be. These things I ask in your name. Amen. Amen. Pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Commissioner. Item number 4 on the agenda, I have a proclamation that I'd like to read, and we'll go down and take some pictures. This is the proclamation for Child Abuse Prevention Month. Whereas National Child Abuse Prevention Month will be recognized throughout the United States, as well as in the Commonwealth of Kentucky during the month of April 2019. And whereas preventing child abuse and neglect is a community problem that depends on involvement among people throughout the community. Whereas during periods of economic challenges, families feel more vulnerable, and as a result, child abuse and neglect increases dramatically. Whereas child abuse and neglect can be reduced by making sure each family has the support they need to raise their children in a healthy environment. And whereas child abuse is considered to be one of our nation's most serious public health problems, with scientific studies documenting the link between abuse and neglect of children and a wide range of medical, emotional, psychological, and behavioral disorders. Whereas all citizens should become involved in strengthening families to raise their children in a safe and nurturing environment. Whereas effective child abuse prevention programs succeed because of partnerships created among government agencies, schools, faith communities, civic organizations, law enforcement agencies, and the business community. Now, therefore, I, Thomas Hart Watson, Mayor of the City of Owensboro, do hereby proclaim April 2019 as Child Abuse Prevention Month in the City of Owensboro, and I urge all citizens, community agencies, faith groups, and businesses to increase their participation in efforts to strengthen families, thereby preventing child abuse and creating healthier communities. This second day of April 2019. This time I'll ask Rosemary Conder to please come forward for the presentation. Put that in front of us. Yes. That's nice. Okay, here we go. Congratulations. You're welcome. Got them all? That's nice. Thank you. You're welcome to take the podium, state your name and address for the record. I think we know you, but quit. I love doing that.
Thank you, Mayor and Commissioners. I do appreciate this opportunity to speak to you a little bit. Christy Clark with the Community Collaboration for Children actually was supposed to be here tonight, and she's got the flu, and she was really disappointed. She said, please tell them how sorry I am. It's my favorite time of the year to get this proclamation from the city. So I know she's probably trying to listen if she's not in a fever stupor. But
Glad she's not here myself.
this proclamation really says it all. The collaboration between different organizations is so critical to our community, being aware of what abuse and neglect look like for our children, and then the ways that we can implement attitudes. I think it's really just having an attitude of being aware and educated so that we can intervene and prevent these cases. Kentucky was just designated as the worst state with abuse and neglect, and I always try to look at that on the positive side, that maybe more people are reporting it and we're trying to intervene more than putting it under a barrel and saying it's not something that we look at in our community. So I think the more that we wrap around services for families and try to do prevention efforts, that really starts with awareness in the community. So thank you so much for your time, and I know she really appreciates this. And April the 12th at Kentucky Wesleyan College from 4 to 7 p.m. is a free public event. It'll have bounce houses and lots of games and fun for the kids. They do it every year. It's called the Stand Against Child Abuse, and it will be at Kentucky Wesleyan on the 12th.
Thank you. Okay, next item on the agenda. I don't know about the rest of y'all, but I've been trying to figure out what this Be Kind signs are all over this community. And this lovely lady that comes to the health park in the morning, she just happened to be able to tell me all about it. So at this time, I'm going to read a certificate of mayor's appreciation for Owensboro Cumberland Presbyterian Church. On behalf of the city of Owensboro, the elected officials, employees, and city residents, thank you for spreading love and kindness in our community through your involvement with the Be Kind initiative. So at this time, Ms. Brown, I'll be glad to present this to you out front. We'll take a picture, all right? Then you get to talk. Not now, you get to talk. Don't grin at me.
I'll do that.
Congratulations. Thank you for what you're doing.
It's a pleasure.
Okay, now, don't take my sign.
No, I'm
Leave my sign there. All right. You're welcome to go to the podium, state your name and address for the record.
We're so glad to be here tonight. This is making us happy all over the whole city of Owensboro and the state.
Well,
and
make me happy. Make me happy by stating your name and address for the record.
Donna Scott, 1502 Marycrest West.
Thank you. Now proceed.
Okay. Okay, and then I got the idea. I was in E-Town this last summer with my mom in the hospital, and it was a very trying time. So I would leave the hospital and see these signs that said, "Just be kind." And I just would look at them, and I'd feel so good, and I'd smile after such a tough day. And I thought, we need to do this. And we have a committee at church that's Give Because He Gave. And I kept taking pictures of the signs and sending them to our committee and saying, we need to do this. We need to do this. It's helped me get through this. So when I got back in August, we talked about it and decided we could do this. We needed to do this for Owensboro and everybody in the whole United States, basically. So we ordered the signs, and we got them out around the community, and people started seeing them, and we decided, this is going to work. Because we were hearing really positive comments from people, and it made me smile, made me feel good. So we sort of slowed down this winter. It was tough kind of getting people to come, but now that people are out in their yards working and seeing the sun shining and we're feeling good, we're getting out more signs and seeing more around Owensboro. We've got the paper, we've ordered more signs, so they'll be coming in. We have information on where to get the signs. Shirley's got some stories. She's really out and about with the signs, and just the stories that you hear are great. And we just want to get the word out, spread the word, let people know that this is what we all need to be, is just be kind. Just take a minute and just be kind.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Shirley Brown. You need my address?
Yes, ma'am.
2524 South Griffith,
I knew that.
Owensboro, Kentucky. Back in September, the signs came out. I got a yellow one. It's my favorite. I put it in my yard, close to the street, and one Saturday morning I was gone. I came home and there was a note on my mailbox that said, "I love your sign, where can I get one?" And he left his name and his address, and so I called him. He seemed very anxious to have the sign, and so I said, "Well, I can meet you at the church," and he said, "Good." So we met at the church, and he said, "You know, I drove down your street and I saw that sign and it did something to me." He said, "I went up a few doors, I turned around and came back, and that's when I left the note." He said, "You see, I'm going into the hospital Monday morning for surgery," and he said, "I had to have that sign in my yard before I checked in." That got us started.
Mm-hmm.
Every sign that leaves the church, we're there on Wednesday, about 4 to 6, something like that. Every sign that leaves there has a story, and it has just brought me so much joy. These signs have brought a lot of joy to the community, to the state. Donna went to Rome and Athens. She took a sign, had a picture taken with it. We have a gentleman who came to visit his parents from Australia. He took a sign back with him, so now we're worldwide. But it's a lot of fun there on Wednesday nights, and I love the stories, and I was telling the mayor about them. Like a daddy brings in 2 little girls. They get a sign, but they want one for a friend. And he says, "But you're going to run Daddy short of money for the rest of the week." But they just stand and look at him like little girls can look at daddies. He said, "Okay, we'll go to an ATM. We'll be back." They came back, 2 signs, left happy. A gentleman came in with his mother, and they were so excited. They lived in Utica, and they wanted to sign because they were going to be the first ones on their street to have a Be Kind sign. They were excited. We have a little gentleman that comes in every couple of weeks. He buys 10 or 12. So finally, a couple of weeks ago, I said to him, "What do you do with all these signs?" And he said, "I give them to my friends." And he gave me a big hug. And there was a gentleman there, and I said, "Oh, we've got a new sign." And I said, "I love that new sign with the snowflakes." He brought it to me, gave me a hug, said, "It's yours." So see, I'm even getting hugs in the church hallway, and it's kind of nice. Then we had, a lady came in and said, "Everybody eating at my table at Thanksgiving is getting a sign." We sold a lot of them at Christmas time. There was one story I loved. A lady came in, and she'd had kind of a hard day. And we visited with her for a while, and so she picked out her sign, and she came over to me, and she opened her billfold, and she had 7 $1 bills. And I said, "That's not a problem. Take the sign, God bless." But you know, that night I couldn't sleep. I thought, why did I take that lady's
Last $7?
$7? why didn't I just give her that sign and say, God bless, you know? So you can see that these signs are just so heartwarming. So what the joy they've brought to me, the joy they've brought to our church, and I hope they're bringing joy to everybody in the community that sees them.
Well, now they might understand why they're out there, and that's what I wanted to do, because nobody could tell us.
Oh, why they're,
How come we had to be kind all over the community? We didn't know where it originated. So now we know.
now you know. But I don't know, some of you got a flyer, and it's just very, I wanted you to know some of the things that we have done with the money from the donations. The church has not kept one penny, that all of it has gone. We have given the schools, the Davis County schools money, the Owensboro City schools money. We just delivered last week, I think it was 20 bed rolls to Crossroads. We've paid for a bed at St. Benedict's for a year for someone. We give a lot to the Patino Center. We gave 2 benches to hospice. There's so many things that we're doing.
Well, you just keep up the good work, that's all I
We
can
will,
say.
and I thank you for having us.
Well, we're proud that you're an Owensboro person, that's for sure. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, now the fun stuff. 5A, we'd like to consider the approval of the minutes dated March 19, 2019. I'll make a motion to approve. Could I
Second.
have a second, please?
Second.
Any discussion on the dais? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Item 5B, I'd like to consider these board appointments, please. The Owensboro Davis County Industrial Development Authority reappoint Ed Ray to a 4-year term expiring April the 19th, 2023. Seven Hills Neighborhood Alliance reappoint Donnie Murphy and Rob Norris to a 2-year term expiring April the 7th, 2021. The Owensboro Davis County Building Code Appeals Board reappoint Ben Clark Jr. to a 4-year term expiring May the 6th, 2023. And the Historic Preservation Board reappoint Ted Lally to a 3-year term expiring May the 16th, 2022. I will make a motion to approve. Could I have a second, please?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Thank you. Item number 6, city manager items, and I will welcome the assistant city manager, Leland Hancock, to the floor.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're welcome. Speak into the mic like you've
Got
done.
a few appointments tonight.
Good.
Seth Abel, probationary, full-time, non-civil service promotional appointment to maintenance equipment operator with the Public Works Street Department, effective April 21st, 2019. Kristen Dierksen, regular, full-time, non-civil service appointment to police officer with the Police Department, effective April 2nd, 2019. Easton Russellberg, regular, full-time, non-civil service appointment to the police officer with the Police Department, effective April 2nd, 2019. Katrina Lee, regular, full-time, non-civil service appointment to Public Works bus driver with the Public Works Transit Department, effective April 2nd, 2019. Jacob Trogdon, regular, full-time, non-civil service appointment to road worker with the Public Works Street Department, effective April 2nd, 2019. And Alexis Kane, regular, full-time, non-civil service appointment to telecommunicator with the Police Department, effective April 15th, 2019.
Thank you. Could I have a motion to approve, please?
Motion.
Could I have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carries. Item 6B, city manager comments.
No comments tonight, Mayor.
None?
No.
Huh. Okay. Item 7, communications from elected officials. Commissioner Pam Smith Wright.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're
I
welcome.
just wanted to ask the assistant city manager about the dust.
Doug's.
Dust.
It's an issue right now with pollen in springtime, so
Oh, okay.
that will dissipate.
Mayor, I just wanted to send condolences to Brad Whitlich's family. He passed away, and for those who don't know, He is the young man that helped sponsor the flags that we put out for veterans' suicide. He was with the
Millwrights.
the Millwrights group, and they purchased 660 flags for us to put down on the riverfront. And I just wanted to send our condolences to the family.
Thank you. Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mayor.
You're
I just want to, my condolences to the entire police department and Chris Watkins for the loss of the canine, I think it's Rotzi. I know it's heartbreaking, and I just wanted to condolences.
Yeah, if you ever had to put your dog down, that's awful. It is awful. Commissioner Condor.
Thank you, Mayor. Just
Welcome.
one comment, please, sir. Over the last couple of weeks, or maybe a little bit longer, and hopefully everybody else, maybe even on the dais up here, has gotten this comment. I know staff has. But I've been stopped publicly and asked this one question. Why didn't the city do anything about O.Z. Tyler? The first thing I tell them is something most people don't understand or realize. O.Z. Tyler's not in the city. Wasn't when it was first built, isn't today. Therefore, meaning there aren't any taxes that they pay to the city, property taxes, occupation, or anything else. Now, going through the process of where O.Z. Tyler could have been, should have been, if we had to have adjusted the comprehensive plan, the city commission would probably, I guess, it would be brought forward here, and we would address it. But other than that, the city of Owensboro wouldn't have a whole lot to do. So the misconception out there is that the city leaders up here didn't want O.Z. Tyler. That is totally wrong. It was a different circumstance of a different local government that was handling that deal. So I wanted to make sure that was clear of who O.Z. Tyler is and where they're located. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, and I'd like to expound on that a little bit, because they first came to the Economic Development EDP board. It's the judge, executive, myself, Dean Stanley, and brought this proposal in, and certainly we were excited about the opportunity as a community, but they only had a limited time frame that they could get this done. And obviously, with some of the things that came out about the black fungus, which is not bad, not a health concern, just a cosmetic concern more than anything else. I personally tried 4 different pieces of property to try and keep them in the community, and each one of the landowners said we'd be glad to lease, but O.Z. Tyler wanted to purchase. So I think I even made a remark that Austin accurately quoted, and we were just land short in our community to put up 8, 10, 12 of these. And they're not really brick houses, they're actually steel building. It's a little bit different. I met with the people that are in the air park and tried to do that in conjunction with the airport. So there was quite a bit of effort done to try and keep OZ in town, and I feel comfortable that we exhausted almost all the avenues that we had just because of the time frame. So we'll look at these things again. There's actually 5 statewide lawsuits right now in different cities that I've been told that are having the same issue with everybody scared of the black fungus. It's not a mold. And also the problem of being in an air park where if there was a fire, how would it shut down the manufacturing that's going on there? And if you look at Metesla, they were going to be right next to them. And if you shut them down for one day, they're on-time fabrication for Toyota frames, and it would cost them over $100,000 a day to get them back going. So it's not that we didn't try. It's not that fiscal court didn't try. Just didn't work out. So what do? You just keep plugging. So thanks for bringing that up, Commissioner. Appreciate it. Okay, item number 8 is open public forum. Members of the audience are invited to address the City Commission on any matter of public concern that is not on tonight's agenda. Comments are limited to issues within the scope and responsibility of this commission only. Commission meetings are held to conduct city business for the benefit of Owensboro citizens and taxpayers. This time, anyone who wishes to address the City Commission, please make their way to the podium to be recognized. Speakers must state their name and address for the record and limit their remarks to 3 minutes or less. Since the item is not on the agenda, no response is required from the city staff or the commission, and the mayor reserves the right to extend or shorten the time of the speaker. You? Yes, ma'am.
Honorable Mayor, City Commissioners, City Manager, Assistant City Manager, and City Attorney. Good evening. My name is Nahid Murtaza. My address is 3 Stone Creek Park, Owensboro, Kentucky. I am here with the Executive Director of the Owensboro Human Relations Commission, Caitlin Nonweiler, and I'm here before you to actually extend an invitation on the behalf of Brescia University to have you come for a final presentation for a class project, which most certainly has the city's interest as well as the Human Relations Commission's interest at heart. I don't know if you've had a chance to look at today's paper and this article that was on it.
Yes, I have.
Okay. So I teach a political science course at Brescia University. It's politics and social issues. And one of the things that the students are responsible for, which is 30% of their grade, is a community service project. This year, I have changed it up a little bit, primarily due to something that our executive director had said at one of our board meetings. We were in January and talking about things that we could do on the behalf of the commission to promote just the city, really, amongst the citizens of Owensboro. And she had mentioned something about the city being awarded twice the coveted title of an All-America City. And it's a national recognition by the National Civic League. So that kind of stuck with me, and I did a little bit more research. I contacted Abby Shelton, who is here. She was very gracious. She came to my class and spoke a little bit on what it takes for the city to be involved in such an undertaking and application-wise and so on and so forth. So what is happening is that the students will be contacting for-profit nonprofits, and they will be engaging certain questions that will hopefully garner qualitative and quantitative data for the city to use for your next application for the All America City Award, and then also help the Owensboro Human Relations Commission fill in the gaps as to civic leadership. The idea behind this is to draw out those companies that are very much so engaged in diversity and inclusion amongst their workforce, that they have a work plan, they have policies in force that advocate such not just equality, but really equity amongst the races, amongst the genders, and so on and so forth. Like, for example, a possible question would be, what is the ratio of male to females that are hired? One of the questions might be, is there any minority that has had a leadership position in your company or is leading the company currently? So these are, I think, very important questions to ask. Most certainly if we want to get that title back, right? And of course, it's not just about getting this national award, it's about making our city more inclusive, more diverse, and more, how can I say this? Bettering our city for whoever is wanting to come here. This is something that I think the city of Owensboro is very engaged in. You want people to come to the city. We want to increase the population of our city. We want our city to expand in so many different directions. But if we do not include the least among us, we most certainly will not be a city for everyone. So I would like to extend a cordial invitation on the behalf of Brescia University. April 30th is the date of the final presentation, and each of the groups of 3, there are 5 groups, they will have a nonprofit and a for-profit that they will go ahead and engage and research and collect data, and then they will do a final presentation and present it depending on whatever method they would like to choose, most probably PowerPoint. And I extend this invitation to you. I will most certainly give you the exact time and location on Brescia. Most probably it will be Taylor Lecture Hall, and the time will be 1 o'clock, but I will just firm that up closer to the time. So we would love for you to be there, and anybody else from the city is most certainly invited to come and participate and take a look and see how the leaders of tomorrow are collecting data for the leaders currently to help make Owensboro a better city.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any
Caitlin?
questions you might have?
Any questions from the dais?
Okay, thank you so much.
Anyone else would like to? What are you 3 ladies doing back there? You're not going to speak or anything? Okay. All right then. At this point, I will take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Anybody want to second that?
Second?
Okay, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 All opposed? We are adjourned.